Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time that we address the elephant in the room. It's your boy at Jinx did nothing wrong, and I think it's about time we talk about Legends of Runeterra. They have this long thing that I heard someone say, yo, did you hear what they said about Runeterra? Did you hear what they said about Runeterra? And I was like, no, I have no idea. And apparently a bunch of people at Riot got, I think, pretty much laid off, right? And that's also going to affect what games they are going to be focusing on. They specifically stated that they're going to kind of be working on League of Legends, Wild Rift, Valorant, and TFT. TFT doing the Lord's work when it comes down to the money. And that's kind of what they've been saying about Legends of Runeterra. It's not making any money. And they're going to be going from all of this PvP and going over to mostly Path of Champions, which I can understand that. As far as if you think about how this game has been kind of developed, it's mostly to kind of flesh out the lore of the game, which if they are anticipating doing an MMO, right, like in a few years time, if they're about to drop a fighting game, you can also see that they probably need more people for that. They want those launches to be better. Runeterra has been around for a long time, and if it hasn't made any money yet, it's probably not going to make any money now. They've been pretty much going back on a lot of the stuff, like the tournament, the Runeterra Open, yeah. It's just, but most of the stuff, I feel like it hasn't really worked out too much, and it's also because I just think it's hard to do a a card game, right? A card game, I think, is really hard to really do correctly. So I wanted to kind of just touch on the things that I think that went wrong with the game. And I also want to say right here in the bat, 2 minutes into the video, just so you guys know, I'm still gonna upload content until the end of time. And I'll probably upload even more Path of Champions stuff because I actually like Path of Champions. I know Spicy Toast Gaming, them stocks just went up like crazy for my boy because he's been doing freaking POC content he's like one of the more direct POC creators that I think that are on the platform. Now, I like Path of Champions, but I also do like making a deck. But I could see if you go into Path of Champions, why it might be the way that they want it is, and I'll just quickly go here for like 2 seconds just to kind of explain that. I got my boy Tommy Boy, and just in general, right? So you have, let's just go by the best of the best, right? And you have this challenge, right? This is the top challenge that they have outside of the monthly challenge here. Is, you know, you have this thing, he has a special ability, you have a starting deck here, and the deck is basically made of, starting deck is basically made up of cards that are already existing. So it doesn't mean, in my personal opinion, and that's not something that I think that they confirm themselves, is that, you know, they could still drop champions, they could still do stuff, they can still make an archetype and things of that nature. It will just be like every other roguelike card-based battler. One of the biggest creators that I like to watch on a regular basis is a guy named Retromation. God, I can't talk. He covers a ton of roguelike games, and anytime it's a roguelike card battler or something like that, and when you can make decks and when you can't. One of my favorite ones, if you guys are familiar with it, it's a game called Hellcard. Hellcard is a really good game, I think would be a good example of, like, you kind of start off and you kind of just make your deck as you go. Slay the Spire kind of is the same thing, obviously, as well, right? So I think that it's easier for them to make a champion. I'm using Tom Kench as an example, and then make a couple supporting cards, and then just like, since it already has a pool of cards in the entirety of the game, and they even have Path of Champion exclusive cards, which I don't think I can show them in here. I don't know if I can ever find them, but like, let's say there's like a specific Poro card that you would probably want to get if you're playing the Poro King or something like that. So there's a little bit more flexibility, there's a little bit more nonsense that they can do in this mode, and they can realistically make it a more fun and enjoyable experience. However, majority of the game, or at least the YouTube content creation, I feel like does ride and derive from the PvP aspect of it, building a deck the way that you want them to, and then kind of doing that. Like, when I think of Swim, and I know people are like, oh my god, how could you mention him? But Swim, Silverfuse, Grappler, Snooey, myself, and a plethora of other content creators, and some that I've actually, I feel like I don't know where they want to, like Hawktie. He used to do like 5 matches per video, and like taking requests, viewer decks and stuff. Like, it was insane, all the stuff he was doing. I actually kind of miss his content, but it's it's gonna be a sad day when like pretty much either, I don't know, I maybe have to reread the article, maybe you guys can let me know. I don't know if they're gonna stop doing it, but I feel like they are going to most likely just like stop, I guess, like the servers of PvP. I don't know exactly how that works, but I do wanted to say one thing. I say one, whenever a game does the standard eternal thing, I think Shadowverse is my first experience with that. I think that it's usually not a great sign for a game, because I think that it makes things too difficult for a developer team, right? So now if they basically was saying that they're going on a downward spiral. They said that they're gonna split the player base in two, right? Because some people are only gonna want to play Eternal, and some people are only gonna want to play Standard, right? And then you have two different servers for these two things, right? And then you have to balance each individual thing, because when you drop something in Eternal, you drop something for Standard, right? Which is just anything brand new that comes out, right? And then you have to also keep in mind of what it does to an Eternal, and you're going back and forth a lot, and I've never really liked that. Another big thing is that since we have to talk about the main reason why Runeterra is getting the dunks is because of monetization, right? So one of the things that I found that was always weird, and this is a suggestion that I've always had, I do think that these characters, right? These skins, a lot of them are fundamentally useless. I would say, let's just take Sun Eater Care for instance. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this thing? It doesn't really have that great of animations. There are no animations, to be frank. And at the same time, you get sometimes like a slightly different card art. Now, card art is amazing, right? This looks amazing. This is a super cool looking Kale. But outside of you just liking that and maybe wanting to support the devs, there's really no purpose of you playing this stuff. They did try to do something cheeky with, what the hell was it? I'd have to go to the depths of when they started to do it, right? Here it is. Sandstorm Echo is one of the ones that I know. There's another one, I just can't remember it. So they were also trying to do it that pretty much, hey, if you bought one of these skins previously because you just liked it, that hey, maybe it will eventually turn into an epic skin. They'll randomly start doing that, kind of giving you an incentive to get it when it's cheaper, and then still buy the skin. And then if you lucked out and they did that, again, didn't seem like there was a purpose to it. I always wanted it to be, which is, it's so sad that if we look at the boy that is Mordekaiser, right? Mordekaiser and this expansion that they just did, I don't even know if that's how you properly say that, but Morgana and Mordekaiser are finally these champions, which is something that I wanted them to do a while ago. The Bando City one that they did was kind of okay, because they're like Yordles, and the Yordles are the thing for that, but I really wanted them to do the dual region thing, more specifically because it would have meshed with the skins. I gotta applaud Riot, I guess, at the same time, is that they kind of stuck with their guns, right? They're stuck with their guns about making the game very free to play and very easy to access, similar to League of Legends. League of Legends, you literally can just start playing the game. They have free characters on a rotation, and the more you play, the more that you have. If guys were to open up my League of Legends account, you guys should know that I have so much resources. I can literally get the newest champion every time they come out. I could, and that's pretty much it, like, right? I can always get the newest thing that comes out because I'm such a loyal fan. I've been playing for so long. I have plethora of resources, and that's kind of the same thing with Legends of Runeterra. Once you have this going on, like a new character, let's say they drop 3 new champions, right? I'm one off of getting all 3 of the new champions that come in an expansion, plus I have currency here, plus I have this prismatic thing, which was the absolute failure, and I have this, plus I have, what is this, 363,000 green essence, and it costs, I know it costs like a grip to get anything like that, but really, like, I'll never need to spend money in this game outside of just getting like the little event passes and stuff, which again, most of them get skins that don't have great animations or anything like that. I think, and I don't think it would have been too crazy for the game if the skins had changed what the characters do. And this is just like my personal opinion. So even with the Runeterra characters, which I think, obviously I'm a big fan of Jhin, but for example, the Obsidian Dragon Set could have not been Ionia. Maybe this is a Demacian version of Set. And same thing with the Soul Fighter, could have been actually that makes more sense than Demacia. Noxus version, there we go, Noxus version of Set with a slightly different skill and ability, and with that you buy that character, or maybe you do have some other ways to do it, but it's a little bit harder to do. League of Legends is now at the point where you actually don't need to buy skins literally at all. You can just keep playing. There's a chest system, and you can get skins that way, and of course the skins are not going to make anything better. They don't increase stuff, and I think that would have been a little bit better. I think that would have been a really cool way to monetize the game by putting up technically would be a paywall, right? Like if you want the new character, but League of Legends and Riot I think has a very determined stance to not make the game any way-ish paywall-y at all. That would make it paywall-y, right? Like you'd be like, oh, Poro King, Talia, and Swain just came out. Their new skins came out. There's a different character, and it doesn't have to be that the characters are power crept, which is an issue that happens in most mobile games. It literally could have just been it's a different character. It builds different. Same thing with Pyke, and it would have actually, in my personal opinion, fit rotation better, right? So I was about to talk about Pyke. He has the Lurker engine, but maybe Sand Wraith Pyke has nothing to do with Lurker at all. Maybe he is a different subtype. Maybe he's does something completely different, has nothing to do with Lurk. And then he's part of the prediction thing. And these characters, one of the things that League of Legends kind of has is that these characters are multifaceted. Even in League of Legends, for example, let me use Morgana, right? She's a support, and sometimes same thing with Lux. There's support characters, but they also can be run as mid laners as well. So there's times where they're super supporting, when they're shielding and doing all this other nonsense, and there's other times when they're just doing damage, right? So they could have incorporated that into the thing. They could have even made exclusive skins, like Lux Battle Academia. They could have made something that's not even in League at all. I think that there was a lot of options here that I think could have helped monetize the game. But I feel like their fear of making the game non-free-to-play feeling, because it was definitely free-to-play friendly, but sometimes you do have to let your audience know that you are a business and that you need some type of way to garnish money. And it sucks because a lot of them do it through microtransactions, through which this game does have. They do have events. They don't do them as often, but there's still not enough money to sustain the entirety of the game, is basically what they're saying. So I think that skins would have been a good option. And I'm saying most of this because I feel like they had a lot of stuff, like the boards. I feel like boards are super important. The Jinx Mayhem one that I'd like to use because it's Jinx did nothing wrong. They have this one, the final stage. Great stages, right? Like that, really would entice people to spend money. But eventually they stopped making them. I guess they weren't making too much money. Obviously the development cost of this stuff, I have no idea. The Guardians, I don't understand why they went with random creatures. I think that, and I've said this in a previous video before, they could have just went with champions. I think that TFT showed the way that if you just had a chibi version, I'm not a big fan of chibi, but a chibi version of Jinx, a chibi version of pretty much every time a character came out, a chibi version of that character, and people would have loved it. Like, oh, my character got rotated, but I still got my chibi TF representing, you know? Like, I think that would have been a way smarter idea, and a lot of this stuff I feel like could still be fine. Maybe they can make a Legends of Runeterra Part 2 or something like that. I doubt that they'll do it, but, you know, even this, the Gwen doll, it's like a Gwenish doll, kind of, sort of. But I think that they could have did stuff like that. Card backs are card backs. I think if you're trying to style on your opponent, you know, like this, or I would have got this because Jinx did nothing wrong. I used the Star Guardian one, which, oh my god, Timo, get on my face. But I definitely use that, and I think they could have went with that. I think this is fine. And then the same thing with the emotes. The emotes were probably like the best. One of the best things to make money. I love emoting, and I hate when I play another card game that I can't emote in. So I do think that they make money, but the best emotes were in the past, so there wasn't a reason to spend money outside of it. So I do think that maybe that could have been a thing where they still forced you to somewhat spend money and get the little small things. I think also there was nothing in the game to prove that you were a whale, and unfortunately that's things that you have to think about when you're making a game. You have to give this a reason for some people. Like, I've seen people that do spend all of the money, right? And they'll have all the emotes and stuff like that, but you know, there's no real, you can't quote unquote flex on other people, which is something that whales like to do. They want to show people that they've spent money. Like when I see a high-end skin, even though you can randomly RNG get skins in League, And I think if you guys are really paying attention to League, I think Necrit has put out a ton of great videos about League of Legends trying to give ways for people to spend, incentive for people to spend money, because they need more of it. They might not be able to stay like full free to play forever. Now, Runeterra also is a victim of, and this is still me talking about monetization, the same victim of what happened to Paragon. What happened to Paragon? It died for the love of Fortnite. Fortnite blew the frick up like crazy, and Paragon was a MOBA game that they had, and it wasn't doing the great numbers. They went through like 2 to 3 iterations of the game, and within those 2 to 3 iterations of the game, they decided to just completely scrap the game, give it to the people, and then put all the devs and all the focus, all the money onto Fortnite. And as you can see, Fortnite skyrocketed because of that. It became one of the greatest things ever, and it's still one of the greatest things ever, I think, in gaming that we've seen in a very long time. I think that that's what's happening in Runeterra. It's just sinking money, and instead they have, like I said, a fighting game coming out, I think possibly this year, sometime this year, or maybe next year. And they have, like, we all know that the MMO's coming. The MMO could be what Runeterra is this side project through Riot that is expanding the lore of the game. And that's kind of what we've been using this for, to kind of like have additional lore. So why do they need to put money on a sinking project with an MMO, just with the server cost of having everyone pay like $10 a month or some nonsense? Would probably do or make more money in the long run than what Runeterra has been making or not making for about, what has it been, 6 years or whatever it's been. So that's just my opinion on it as far as that goes. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the marketing of this game. I think I'd have to just say it's getting slightly dog shit. I feel like TFT, the marketing for TFT has been just phenomenal. Even though I play TFT usually just in the beginning and then I kind of ditch it off to the side, I think that it's enough to note that I got TFT ads everywhere. Every time there's been an expansion of TFT, they have like these cool events that are like, they get the streamers involved, they do a lot of stuff. But for Runeterra, we only keep it in-house. I don't know what incentive that was, or maybe they don't have any money to put forward for prize pools and stuff like that. Like TFT, when it came that you can play it on the app at the same time as playing it on a computer, like I feel like it was just shown off to the world on a consistent basis. The last update with the music was just shown off to the world. The one before, like every TFT pack or set that comes out, I feel like it's more of a explosion. And there's people that still play TFT straight up to this day. And that is why, and I'm just letting you guys know, that is why they're going to invest into the Path of Champions, because TFT is it's an auto battler, and this format, this mode is similar to that maybe, just maybe, and I just noticed this, like, what the hell is this, by the way? It's like a Freljord locked up there, like they're gonna unleash something else in the Freljord. But I think that that's why they're doing this, because this is a very easy way, and then maybe they can make it that you are playing or streaming Runeterra all, like, I don't know, every day for several hours by doing a bunch of runs, and they could start changing this game, Legends of Runeterra, into a roguelike experience. I think that it's not that bad of a concept. It's just that it's been running so long under one identity. I think it's just going to be so hard. If the first identity didn't work, it's going to be so hard to sell it as a second identity. And I also don't think it would run or it's going to get any money unless you have, again, some type of challenge or something like that. The OG players are going to pretty much be we already have all our stuff. So I'm curious also, I know it's been 20 minutes of me recording and just kind of talking, and I really want to know, what are your guys' opinions? Are you going to stop playing the game? I personally, as you guys know, if you're familiar with me, I don't care about rank. I don't care about my rank in this game. I don't think that there's enough incentive to climb the charts in this game. I don't think that it's enjoyable fighting against the same 5 decks once the meta gets found out either. That's why I like Eternal. Eternal is basically the same thing, but usually you have some more BS in your arsenal. And that's kind of my overall thoughts. I think that it's sad that a lot of people lost their job due to having to focus. And who knows, I'm not going to say it, you know, as you guys know, I use AI art for some of my thumbnails. That also could be the reason why some jobs, you know, they didn't specify the jobs, but, you know, I'm using AI as an example, but maybe there are a lot of jobs that were simplified or combined. They're also changing who's in charge of Runeterra. So I do think that those are my concerns, I guess. If what are you guys going to do as far as the Path of Champions? Like, there's a weekly challenge here There's a monthly challenge. Like, this stuff should also be in the regular matches, but you know, fighting against each other. And I didn't want to show too many other games, but I think Yu-Gi-Oh right now has a really good example of something that I would love to show. Oh my god, a different game. I thought about bringing up all the games I was talking about, like, so you can see it, but this is Yu-Gi-Oh. And I wanted to bring up something like this because I think that this would have helped out the game, which is, this is the Theme Chronicle, which is something as far as you play, it's not ranked, right? It's not really ranked, but you get resources and things like that, and it gives people like a kind of like a time frame into play. This has been going for like 12 days, and they do this pretty regularly, and it gives you a reason to kind of join in, play the game. I think that they maybe could have did something like this as well too, and which is really cool, is that they even give you a loner deck, which is something like, I don't have those cards, like, especially when the new characters come out, they make like a pseudo deck that you could play with. I think that Runeterra could have really utilized something like this, in my opinion anyway. Not like I'm super right about anything. And sorry, I'm messing up the games. Master Duel actually does good financially, but it's also because they do a lot of restrictive stuff. So people spend a lot of money on this game, and that's why it's probably able to stay alive. And you know, they have the, like, what does it take, 1,000, 10,000 in order to do a pull in the pack. They have a very similar, like, yeah, like stuff pop out, which would be like our like level up animations or something like that. But it's all based on what's good in the meta, and the meta changes like literally with the ban list. And that's another thing that I kind of wanted to talk about, which is not only just the ban list. And if you guys are always wondering where the hot music comes from, it's from this game. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I'll still be doing a ton of Runeterra stuff, but I will be mixing more of League. Maybe I'll look back into TFT and things of that nature. This is still a Riot-based channel. I've said that before, and I just want to reiterate that, is that I just like Runeterra the most. It's the game that I don't mind playing the most, but I really do like League. And last video I did of my first ranked games, I don't think that other League videos will do that good, but I really do like playing regular League. That's what I play. I play that more than I play Runeterra. Runeterra is just like where I thought I was getting the majority of my views from, and it's really fun to deck build. It shows like a creative side of yourself that, you know, you looked at all the options and then you came up with something, and hopefully it's something different and it's unique. But yeah, I do think that the standard Eternal hurt the game. I do think that the monetization, I do think that they could have went a different route with it. You know, that's hindsight being 2020. And I do super think that's not hindsight 2020. It's just that they didn't market the game enough. I honestly think that they could have really marketed the game. I feel like the only time you heard about Runeterra was very minor things. Even the Soul Fighter stuff, like, we got some really cool Soul Fighter stuff, but it wasn't as big as it was in League of Legends or in even I think like TFT. They never put Runeterra in the forefront. I feel like it was just something that was like a nice, cool thing. And I think if you were in the card game space, you might have known about Runeterra. But I feel like even the giga giants of card games, Master Duel, I was supposed to say Heavensworth, Hearthstone, and Magic the Gathering. Like, I feel like it was never in those realms, because those games, I don't know, maybe do they treat their players better or something like that? I feel like Runeterra treats their players like phenomenally, but they're not making money from us. And I think that that's what, you know, obviously that's what they're saying, is not making any money. So there's nothing wrong with technically the balance of the game. There's nothing wrong. I know people like be pissy and shitty about certain metas or whatever, but the only thing that the game is not doing is just not making enough money. And I think that the League of Legends model worked really good with maybe a mobile, but maybe that same model does not work with card games. You might have to change what you're doing for a card game, and maybe go back to the drawing board, maybe go back to seeing what these other card games are doing to keep themselves afloat. But is it technically too late? I don't know. I think that that's what they're saying, is too late, or they don't feel like wasting additional resources to try stuff out. But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna play and still do some stuff, and I'll keep it rocking with some Path of Champions here and there. But hey, if anything, the only thing is that the shift will go from more TFT or League stuff. Most likely League. I don't feel like playing TFT really at the moment, But once I'll let you guys know a fun little secret. I'm definitely play a ton of fighting games in my heyday. So when the fighting game was coming out, I was definitely gonna have a hard focus on Project L to begin with. So that didn't change for me. And same thing with this. This channel will always be Riot focused. So hopefully, not that many the people that lost their jobs. You know, hopefully they find other jobs and maybe they worked on other games, or maybe they were just reallocated to different departments or stuff like that. And I hope that you guys keep it locked here, because if it turns out that I literally can't do ranked or casual matches because it just removed it from the game and started something brand new, I hope that you guys are courteous to the team as they move into a direction that is more suitable for it. And I do think that the Path of Champions can be fleshed out to an insane degree if they really focus purely on it. I think that Path of Champions, there's a lot of stuff that pisses me off about Path of Champions, mostly because of the monthly challenge being the way that it is, right? The monthly challenge is pretty, I think it sucks that you can't be like a new player and then do the monthly challenge. Like, if you don't have enough, it's literally 3 tries per character and you have to do 70 encounters. You have to have a certain, like, just to finish it, you need to have a certain amount of characters unlocked. And eventually you literally have to have them leveled up. So it's like, it's not new player friendly for a monthly challenge. You have to work your way up to it. And I don't necessarily know the reason why you need to work your way up to something of that nature. I don't think it should work like that. But I think that they can revamp this. I think that they can revamp, and Path of Champions has been revamped. I definitely think they were lying a long time ago that saying that Path of Champions is the most popular mode. I think that they were lying back then, and they were trying to slowly but surely move and course people into liking Path of Champions and focusing on it a long time ago. I think if they, like I said, if they revamp it and they make it a respectable roguelike card game, I think that that is a possibility. It could be absolutely fire. The lore is there, the cards are there, the flavor is there. They need to fully focus on it though. If it's like this is, in my personal opinion, a half-assed attempt at it. It has a lot of cool stuff. Shout outs to Spicy Toast. He kind of makes it cool, but he has like everything, right? And I think that what a roguelike is at its core, a card game roguelike, is that you're able to kind of make something out of nothing. I think that when you have everything unlocked, if you know, there's only so much fun you can have at that. I feel like when I watch ASOL runs, I feel like it's like you're testing out one specific route of something instead of being able to have a really cool run that you never had before. You know, and then you can say that that's the same thing when you're switching around, testing out augments or relics or whatever the hell they call it in this game. But I think that it could be done better. You guys let me know in the comment section below what you think about this video. I don't want to be doom and gloom, because I mean, I've played a lot of games in which they, especially I'm mostly a mobile game channel in my main channel that has like 6,000 subscribers. That's actually where I get most of it, and a lot of the mobile games, they die. So I'm kind of used to this. It does suck. Your channels, if any channel is hard focus on it, you're gonna hope that your current follower base is going to there. But a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people mostly I watch Grappler and Stewie, is that you just kind of see their numbers kind of go a little bit down, and it sucks, because they might not be able to refocus or go into another genre as hard if they completely remove. I saw the Mega Mogwai video as well. If they completely remove it, like that is their bread and butter. You know, like they have to basically go to another game entirely, which sucks. You know, when you build something on a game and then that game disappears for whatever reason that might be, that sucks. You can't do anything. You just have to, either that channel just dies, or you hope that you can do that. Like, that's their livelihood, right? Like, I don't know. I feel really bad for some of those guys that were basically full-time Legends of Runeterra content creators, the tournament people. That, you know, that sucks. It really does. But I feel like those people have enough entertainment value that they can build themselves with it. But I feel like the scary part is that a lot of them, which I've watched their videos, is that they now have to think about, do I even waste time on this game, quote unquote waste time, for the next couple months, or do I just skip ahead right now? And skipping ahead right now might benefit the company, because then they can just fully focus on flipping everything instead of worrying about the leftover people that are sticking out until the wheels fall off, right? Because if everyone's like, I'm still gonna play, then they have that weird guilt trip where they're like slowly trying to, it's like when you're trying to kick people out of the party and they're just still dancing, the music's still pumping, and like you're like, yo, we're trying to close. Can you get the hell out of the store? So I don't know how Riot feels about that or what they're gonna do, but it's a sour moment. But I'm one of those people. I'm staying in the store. We're gonna ride it till the wheels fall off, and I'm also looking forward to what they'll do next with it. I just hope it's not half-ass. just don't do it half-ass. I will know, and I will say it. Slightly different video coming from Jinx Did Nothing Wrong, but you know, I think it had to be talked about. I couldn't ignore it. I just dropped something on the floor. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, because it's going to be a real crazy ride. But like I said, most likely we'll just do more League videos, and that's, you know, that will be it until something else crazy happens. Mixed with some Runeterra, TFT if I remember how to play, and that's going to be it for your boy. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.